Hey guys, we're in Santa Cruz, California at Focus headquarters. I'm hanging out with Andreas Kajewski.
Hey guys.
And this has been a really cool trip. I've actually gotten to look at some of the Gazelle products, and you maybe oversee, or you're kind of a marketing contact for me at Focus, and of course Kalkoff. And today we're looking at the SAM², which is, it's like an enduro. To me, it's like a higher end all mountain. You can go up, you can go down, 170 millimeters of travel on this thing.
Exactly.
And we're starting inside because it's a little peaceful here. We're gonna go out for a trail ride later, but there are some really cool accessories that you sell. Starting with this, was this the bone rail? Is that what you called that?
That's the bone rail, exactly.
Bone rail,
Bone rail comes with the TEC Pack. That's our second battery option that we have as a unique selling proposition for Focus. That's unique in the market, having the second battery that you can actually mount on the downtube to actually double the range, double the fun.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. We were talking about your relationship with Shimano, how we're using the E8000 here. This is a very compact, lightweight, one of the pure, like really pure electric bike motors, mid-drive motors that I've seen out there. And I say pure because it's got a traditionally sized chainring, 34 tooth right there. Love that you guys are using narrow wide. It's, a steel chainring, so you've got a lot of strength there. You're not gonna be dropping it. You've got this nice guide, this plastic guide that's mounted up here, excellent slap guard, and then 11 sprocket cassette in the back, SRAM, NX, good stuff, 11 to 42 teeth. We're looking at this drivetrain here, and it's narrower. It's got a standard 175 millimeter Q factor, and I just feel like the ground clearance, everything on this is really nice. But Shimano it's very controlled. The display and stuff that we're going to go into later. To me, it's just sort of a purist setup. And they control their battery usually. They don't allow this, special proprietary stuff. So you guys are maybe the only company that's...
We are the only company that was allowed by Shimano actually to create our own battery system.
Yeah.
Create our own battery in the downtube.
Inside the downtube. Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. So these two bolts right here, they hold the battery. I saw one at Interbike like a year ago. It is removable for servicing. You have to take off the motor and stuff, so it's not removable for regular charging, but that's where the TEC Pack comes in if you do upgrade and get that. And I think it's like, what was $599 for that?
Exactly, it's $599 in the US. Exactly, for the whole package like it is here.
Get this case and everything?
You get the case and everything. The battery, you get the connection cable, but also you get the smart rack, which is a nice feature.
I love that. Can you put that on real quick and show us how that works?
So click it on the bone rail here, and then you can actually mount a water bottle cage and a tube, for example. Take your accessories with you when you don't go for the battery, when you don't go for a long ride, when you say, okay, I go for a ride, 2 hours, I don't want to have my camel bag on the back with me, but I want to stay hydrated, of course.
Sure, or maybe a folding lock. I mean, again, this is an enduro bike, so you're probably gonna be out there with gear. I've actually got my full face helmet at the ready, but I love that because so many electric bikes kind of skip the water bottle mounts, or maybe it's too crowded. This bike does come in 3 frame sizes, which is really cool. Can you remind me, is that the 42, 44, and 48?
Exactly, 42, 44, and 48. Small, medium, and large.
And we're looking at a medium here, so this is the 44. And then the suspension design, this is something else that's really special, and what I wanted to be in like a very clean environment to talk about this, because Andreas was telling me that they're one of the only companies that have this proprietary design, and Focus is owned by Pong Group. They're part of the Derby Cycles, and there was just the Focus, Kalkoff, Faraday, Gazelle. There's a lot of companies working together here, and Santa Cruz and
Cervelo. So a lot of companies come together, but the most important thing is that every company and every brand stays for its own. We have our own engineers in Stuttgart for Focus, only for Focus, and they work out these kind of amazing products, like with the TEC Pack, our own battery system, and also the linkage design.
And the fold system. Okay, so the reason I brought up Santa Cruz is because they have their own proprietary rear suspension swing arm design too.
VPP, exactly.
VPP, and you guys have fold.
Exactly.
And that's what we're talking about right here. And just describe it to me. Give me the marketing speak. It sounds like on minimal bumps, it's really compliant, maybe, or
exactly. It's super compliant and super sensitive.
Yes.
On these small bumps. but super progressive when you actually have these huge gaps and when you actually need 170 mil of travel, in this case with the SAM². And also one thing that stands out with the fold kinematics is this front triangle that is super clean, as you said, and which allows us actually to mount a water bottle cage, but also the second battery.
Can you grab the other battery while we're at this? So this battery, it's like, 4.5 pounds. I think 4.8 to be exact. The bike itself, this is a size medium frame without the second battery, weighs about 49 pounds. So it is maybe 3 pounds heavier than your SAM², which has shorter travel. What is that, more of a trail bike or?
It's a trail or mountain bike, exactly. 140 mil of travel, which allows you, of course, to go on gnarly trails downhill as well. But of course, 170 mil of travel, this gives you a lot of travel to actually go downhill on rougher terrain.
And yet the price is the same. So I was very impressed. This is $59.99, so just about $6,000 USD. That's the same price as the SAM².
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just kind of neat that you have that option. It's more about your ride style. Really high-end stuff here. Before you put the battery on, we're looking at the Flow Dps. Extra volume, that's EVOL that we're talking about. It's got 3 positions, so firm or soft, medium in the middle, and then we've got compression up here, 36 millimeter stanchions. Fox, I love the really clean, beautiful anodized black that you've got going on both of these, and the kind shock dropper that's like 150 millimeters up there. Just burly, a little bit wider. It makes it stiffer for the longer travel, and it's going to be able to just give you the performance that maybe you're looking for in a technical but also hard environment, like hitting those bigger bumps and stuff. So I think that's really neat. And before, again, I'm excited to see this on here, but you were telling me that this suspension is custom tuned for you guys.
Exactly. So so we work closely with Fox, but also with our other suspension companies and suppliers like RockShox for this SAM², for example, closely together. And our engineers and product managers always fine-tune their shocks actually to fit with our frame design and also with the suspension design that we have with the fold kinematics, to actually they supply us with a custom tune to fit our kinematic system. And you also have just like a jam and a SAM without the squared. Exactly.
Tell me the marketing thing you told me yesterday. You were like, another dimension.
Exactly. So we want to build mountain bikes first.
Yeah.
And not e-bikes first. That's the main message. And we, as you said, we have a jam pedal bike, which is our all mountain bike, and we also have the SAM, our enduro bike.
Yeah.
And the other dimension is the squared experience, like SAM² and SAM². We want to have actually the same experience that you have on our pedal bikes, transformed to our e-bikes. But of course, you have this other dimension, the squared experience, with this guy down here with the battery and the motor, right, more trails, more downhills.
Go further. Get out there and ride up instead of having to take a chairlift. Do some trail maintenance without being exhausted when you get there. Go out even if you have a knee injury like I do. I'm obviously I'm all about e-bikes, so it's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and put this on. So 36 volt, 10.5 amp hours, same size as the one that's inside the down tube. And we've got the bone rail. Let's do it. Let me see what this
so
looks
the bone
like.
rail allows you to actually mount the smart rack, the water bottle cage mount, and the battery. So you just click this guy in here. And then you have this connection cable that goes into the battery and into the charging port.
Yeah.
And you're done.
So that's what it looks like when you're riding with a second battery and you double your capacity. So yeah, I mean, let's add that up. So it's still a 36 volt system. And then I guess that's just 21 amp hours instead of 10.5.
Exactly. So, you actually double the range because they are the same size, inside and outside.
Yeah. One of the things while we're talking about this, the magnetic charging standard here, this is like Rosenberger connector. If you drop it on your shop floor, and you can see there's some iron filings there, it can get a little bit dusty, but I like these because if you trip over it, let's pretend that we're plugged into the bike. This is where you charge the bike too, right? So if you trip over it, it just pops right out like that. It's not going to bend or anything. There's nothing down here by the crank arms. There's nothing where it might be dirty and wet and muddy. It's pretty well protected and just very seamless. And these bigger ports on the side, this is for internal cable routing on both sides, but also for airflow. So Andreas was like, well, yeah, the motors, they do heat up, especially if you're climbing a lot. Maybe you're in that downhill section, you're going back up for another ride, and that motor's working really hard, but we've also got the battery completely enclosed versus this one, it's plastic, it's external. So they wanted to create a way for air to flow through, and it can kind of exit down here along with water too. So all this stuff is really well sealed against water and dust, but it does give you some airflow and some cooling properties. Even if you're going slower, heat rises, so it's going to kind of vent upwards, and that's unique. It's something that's kind of special and just a really cool design element here. Coming back to the charger and everything, I do want to touch on the charger itself. So this is another proprietary, it's like Focus design here. There's the wall side that you would plug in. I like that it comes out. It's not super heavy. It's like under 2 pounds, and it puts out 4 amps. So it's a little bit faster than a lot of the other chargers that I see. Shimano has a fairly big charger, and then maybe you bring that instead of a TEC Pack or something. You can charge up at the lodge while you're eating lunch or something.
Exactly.
Put that in your Camelback, and yeah, it's really cool. So again, we started out inside because it's just a nice calm environment, but we're gonna head out to the trail. We'll talk a little bit more about the motor and some of the other components on this. Sound good?
Let's go for a ride.
Thanks, Andres. Okay guys, Andreas is going all the way with me. He's gonna sag this, so he's put the little rubber washer things all the way down on the stanchions. And I'm gonna sit on the bike like this as he holds it. Thank you, great job.
Thank you.
And then it's pushed those little rubber washers up. And now he's gonna measure those and determine like maybe we need to let some air out, cause yeah. There's usually like a little chart on the back of the left slider there, which is the case on that Fox float front. That gives us some idea of kind of a range based on body weight. And actually, I'm sorry, I called it the Fox float, but it's Fox 36, those bigger stanchions. You might notice this is a little bit different than what we saw back up in the offices a moment ago. This isn't quite stock, so this is like one of their first, like, kind of a demo model to send out into the field. Again, the stanchions here are gold versus that beautiful anodized black. And here we are in the sunlight. You can see the other side of the Shimano E8000 motor. And then Shimano uses their hollow spindle, really lightweight, just very compact, up to 70 newton meters of torque on this thing. It's a very capable motor. I've compared this back to back with Bosch and Broza, and it gives you power right away, but there is more of a 0 to like kind of a feel, kind of clunks into place. I'll put the camera on the bike as we start riding just here on the pavement. We're gonna head out to the trail, and that'll give you an idea of what it sounds like. To turn the bike on, we just press this power button for a second here. There we go, it boots up, takes a second, kind of took a minute to pull up, but now that it's live, we're in off, so that's white. We press the little trigger over here, goes to eco, blue, trail, green, and boost, yellow. So the idea is, without having to completely look down and focus, just out of the corner of your eyes, you can kind of get some idea of what assist level you're in based on color. And you'll notice it's not beeping. The Shimano E8000 and Di2 system, it usually kind of beep, beep, which can get annoying. So they've gone into the settings and turned that off. You press this little circular button here for a couple seconds. There we go, and we're into the settings. You use these triggers to navigate this. So you can clear, clock, Bluetooth LE, that's for low energy. They do have the E8000 app. You can kind of dial in some of the settings, the characteristics of the motor. Light, brightness of that screen, and then beep. So I'm going to go into that, press beep, turn it on. There we go, there's the beep. There, yeah. You could also change units in here if we wanted to. The interesting thing about this is you have to take your hand off, like whether it's the right hand or left hand, and that button's a little bit small. So this is something I've called out before. The display is compact. It's minimal. The triggers, they blend in. It's purist, like I keep saying about Shimano. I feel like, that on the one hand that's nice, but on the other hand I feel like they could have just replicated this little button right here, like on top of that little mounting case or something, and then I could have gone beep right from here. It's a minor complaint. And then the other thing about the battery and stuff, it's like you can't take that battery out of the bike very easily except for servicing. So it does add a little bit more weight if you're carrying it around on a bike rack. You'll notice this is hitch mount platform, so it's a very sturdy rack. But what if you don't have room for this in your house, or you don't want to get the dust and the dirt inside? Well then, you either have to clean your bike or maybe leave the bike in the garage or something and run an extension cord if there's no plug nearby. And extreme heat and extreme cold can be hard on lithium-ion batteries. So there is sort of a trade-off of not being able to easily remove the primary battery. I do, of course, love that, the TEC Pack concept, and I love how clean and integrated this is, and you know, it is a relatively lightweight frame. Which one are you on over here, Andres? Is this the Jam?
That's the Jam Squared.
This is the Jam Squared. So this is the one with 140 millimeter travel. It also has like the kind of a plus size tire. You were saying that we can get up to 2.6 on this.
Exactly.
But right now it's 2.5 in the front, 2.4 in the rear.
Yeah.
So they went with like a narrower tire for the enduro. What was the idea behind this?
This bike we also wanted to replicate what we do with the SAM², with the SAM pedal bike. Like I said, we want to have the same kind of ride feeling,
and that's what it has.
And that's what the pedal bike version has. So we went for 2.5 and 2.4 tires instead of the plus tires, so you can go up to 2.6 tires.
Okay, it's going to make it nimble. You know, it's interesting because you do get float and reduced deflection with plus size tires, but there's a little bit more weight. And again, that bike's about 3 pounds less heavy, and I think it's just because the suspension isn't quite as beefy. I do want to call out 203 millimeter up front, 180 in the rear, quad piston calipers. This is not stock right here. We would have Magura MT5s, and right now we have SRAM. So again, slight differences, but extra stopping power up front. And the frame colors, there's this burgundy. What was the other color frame?
It's a gray. Yeah,
gray.
It's an iron gray, silver kind of, silver gray with blue accents.
Fantastic. Well, I'm definitely eager to get out there. Just wanted to talk about a few of those details before we did. Let's do it. Okay guys, it's a little bit windy, but hopefully you'll be able to see and hear that motor. It's measuring rear wheel speed, pedal cadence, and pedal torque. It's very dynamic, it's very responsive. No shift detection, that's something that I've seen on Bosch, but because this is reliant primarily on torque and it's kind of that pedal force, if you just ease off a little bit, shifting can be very smooth. And again, I feel like the Shimano motor gives you a lot of power right from the get-go. It just steps right on, which is excellent for climbing, of course. So let's do it. There we go. So I was able to hit 20 miles per hour, but I'm going into the wind. So pretty quickly kind of drop back down to 19 and the motor it kicks in. But one thing you don't get here with the Shimano E8000 is drag. So you can easily pedal beyond 20 miles per hour or unassisted, and you're not having like the reduction gearing thing that you see on like some of the Bosch performance motors. And again, you can replace this front chain ring. It's just more standard equipment, which is nice. Hey guys, we've been riding for a while. We're at Wilder Ranch. We just saw it. It's this really beautiful farm on the other side of those trees, and we've got these loops, different trails to check out, and just look how nicely these bikes blend in. Like, no one's mentioned e-bike. We've seen a bunch of people on regular bikes. They're relatively quiet, especially with the noise of the trail on the tires and stuff. And there's going to be some wind, but I thought I'd just, you know, climb a little bit and show you what this is like. I'm going to follow Andreas. You ready to go?
Ready to go.
See you, buddy. So I'm in boost mode right here to make it a little easier on my knees. Did raise the saddle height. I'm 5'9". I'm on the medium-sized frame, and I'm probably at the upper end of the medium-sized frame. One of the things I always test with those mid motors is like how high the cadence will support you. So, you know, Bosch goes up to like 120 RPM, and so does Shimano, maybe even a little bit above that. And that's really nice, because, you know, if you can't shift gears, maybe you're going from a descent to a climb, it's nice that it supports you. You can pedal faster, you don't have to shift gears. No problem climbing. Wasn't windy. Let's see if we can. There we go. Climbing, filming, no hands. testament to the motor. Quite strong. Just beautiful. Just some gear shifting here. And it has SRAM NX levers, triggers. It's just a one-way high lever. You got 4 shifts for the low lever. We're up to 18, 19 miles per hour. Feels great. Some of the other menus in that display are, let's see, trip distance, odometer, range. Range is pretty cool because it's dynamic as you switch assist levels. Time, average speed, max speed, cadence. So this is what I was talking about. Motor's still supporting me. Maybe it's fading a little bit around 100 right now because I'm in a higher gear. And we're at that 20 mile per hour top speed. If I shift down, now spin, up to that 120 plus. Using that 203 millimeter disc brake up front. The quad piston rotors are going to make it a little bit just cool, a little faster. You don't have to pull on those levers quite as hard. So Andreas is going to trade me bikes. That way I can see this third person. No problem climbing on these things at all. Of course, we are in boost right now, so if you step it down just a little bit to trail, you work harder. It's harder to reach that top speed of 20 miles per hour. These are class 1 electric bikes. 20 miles per hour is the top speed. You have to pedal, there's no throttle. So they are allowed on trails like this all over California, which is really nice. Like no one, it's not like you're bending the rules at all. I'm probably getting a little bit more float over this soft stuff because of the wider tires. And the tires on the SAM², oh boy. The tires on the SAM², you know, the front one's a little bit wider. It's 2.5 and the rear is 2.4, which is kind of nice. You know, a little bit more efficient at the rear. But you've got more grab, more surface area up front to steer the bike. Oh, we got a lizard. Look at that. Very cool. I haven't had to stand at all. It's just amazing what these motors can do. And again, I do have a knee injury, so key is just getting my leg extension right. Take it up to the highest level, enjoy yourself. And you know, all this climbing, I'm up at like 10, 11 miles per hour. I haven't really been able to hit and maintain like 20 uphill, really on any electric bike system. It's like a class 1 mid-drive like this. I also haven't shifted gears at all. Oh boy, technical. Oh yeah, making it up. And the SAM² uses the same Shimano E8000 motor. Whoa, look at that. Oh man, we got here riding just from town, buddy.
Exactly, it's awesome.
It's fantastic. That's one of the big takeaways with an e-bike. You can get to the trail and enjoy the ascent and stuff, man. That was quick, right? We didn't have a lot of time today.
Exactly.
We've been dealing with the wind and stuff, but oh man, it just feels so fortunate. This is just such a beautiful place. Yeah, that's right. What part of Germany are you from?
I'm from Stuttgart, actually, where the headquarters of Focus is, but also, of course, Mercedes and Bosch and Porsche. So a lot of engineering is based in Stuttgart, and
yeah,
that's where I'm from. Yeah.
And the headquarters, I think, of Derby Cycle. Where's that at?
That's in Kloppenburg. That's in the northern part of Germany. That's where actually all the assembly of our e-mountain bikes and also pedal bikes takes place. So everything is hand built in Germany.
That's fantastic. It's beautiful, man. There's a few more things to discuss before we jump in and just close this out. I wanted to call out that they're using, it looks like an extra thick wrap on the cable down here, and I feel like that might be for chain suck. Again, we have narrow, wide tooth pattern on that front chain ring, so you shouldn't have slip or shouldn't drop off as easily, especially with this fully surrounding plastic guide. We've got the slap guard and everything that we were talking about back here. It's a nice drivetrain. Like I love the traditional parts, 170 millimeter crank arms. Kind of walking back up towards the front of the bike. This is what the downtube looks like before you put, what is it, the bone rail?
The bone rail, exactly.
Bone rail, yeah. So if you didn't get the TEC Pack, which comes with a plastic adapter for a cup holder or whatever, there are still some eyelets here, so you could do a folding lock, you could do a bottle or something. I love that they did that stock, because again, I get thirsty. Sometimes I don't want to ride with a Camelback or something, just do a short loop, and you've got yourself another place to mount the bottle cage. Everything's pretty clean up here. All the connectors are really well protected. And then up here to the cockpit, we were talking about the Shimano, it's like the eTube smartphone app, right?
Exactly. So you can actually customize the assist modes. It's like they have 3 assist modes. It's Eco, Trail, and Boost. For a lot of riders, Boost has too much power, too much assistance, so you can actually dial back a little bit. So you can customize the bike to your needs and also to your riding behavior. So you can also actually change from when you have the rear Di2 rear derailleur shifter here on the right hand side, that you actually shift on the left hand side your rear derailleur and do the assist of the motor on the right hand side. So this gives you a lot of opportunities for you to customize your bike.
Excellent. Yeah, tapered head tube, 1.1/8 to 1.5 inch. The 36 millimeter stanchions up front. I feel like we've gone over this pretty well, but that's a look at the front tire. And it does have a different tread than the rear on the final build. Again, this bike's not completely set up, but I thought that was neat. They've really dialed it in. They've looked at just all the different angles, trying to get this thing right. Locking grips, the brake levers, the dropper post. It's a pretty complete bike. And back in other parts of Europe, you have like a carbon fiber version. You have many, many more. So right now in the US, what do we have? The bold squared hardtail, the SAM² full suspension. It comes with a 29er or a plus size 27.5. Yeah. And then the SAM². Are there any other variations of the SAM²?
Not up to SAM². That's the one build that we showed you guys. We will actually bring into the States also the carbon version of the SAM² pretty shortly.
Oh, sweet.
So this will be really nice and plus size only. So we're really looking forward to get this bike over to the States.
Now, Andreas, I want to thank you again, because I know English is your second language and you're doing like really great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this was, again, thanks for showing me this place and taking the afternoon to have a little fun. Well guys, I think that's about it. Thank you so much for checking this out and hanging out on this fun ride. And then thank you, of course. Thank you, Focus. Thank you very much, Andreas.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, buddy. For the full written review on this, where I got all the specs and everything, do the best I can to be super thorough. I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Of course, I've already covered the Jam Squared and the Bold Squared, which is a hardtail version. How much is the Bold Squared?
The Bold Squared is $4,500.
Yeah, so
yeah.
4,500, you know, versus $49.99 for, or I guess it's $59.99 for the full suspension.
Exactly.
I thought you had something at $49.99, but whatever.
Yeah, we start with the Jam Squared LTD, comes as a Plus and a 29er version.
Oh.
This comes in at $4,999 here in the US.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So a lot of options. The reason I'm outlining this a little bit is because I love the way these bikes look. And if you want that integrated battery and you're like, you know, we were talking about the battery capacity, 36 volt, 10.5 amp hours. That's kind of like 2016, 2017, I would call that average. Now we see a lot of like 500 watt hour batteries. Can take you further, but it adds weight and cost. So it's kind of neat, like for a ride like this, I mean, we still have quite a bit of battery capacity remaining here. Easily go on rides like this, maybe a couple rides like this without having to recharge.
Exactly. You can definitely do a ride like this, really into the trails for 2 hours with a smaller battery, because less weight also is more efficient on the battery. So
yeah.
You can't just compare 500 watt hours with 378 watt hours. So sometimes it's just not so easy to just compare watt hours.
Yeah, and then again, the way the weight is positioned really low and centered on this frame, it's excellent. It handles very, very well. So anyway, I think that's it, you guys. Have fun out there, be respectful, ride safe. We'll see you next time.
And then we turn and go back. Yeah.
Andreas is telling me where the downhill section is. We're gonna get put that long travel into effect, and I've got my other camera here. Just boot that up, so we'll get some suspension shots. Lead on, buddy. Very nice. Oh yeah. Beautiful. Excellent stopping power. Tires are holding. Feeling very, very stable. Oh yeah. Woo! Just a beautiful spot. Wow. Beautiful. Perfect time of year to be out here. Everything's green. No one's around. What is today? Is today Thursday?
It's Thursday.
Thursday afternoon bike ride.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Okay, I'm hoping I don't kick the camera, but you should be able to see that fold suspension in action. We're just starting out on some mellow trail, pedal along, see how it works. position there a little bit. Top speed was like 26, 27 miles per hour. Yeah, there's no drag. Just really nice. Pulled over to get the camera out because we're heading away from Wilder Ranch now, back to the Focus headquarters in Santa Cruz. And we're gonna pass the Wilder Ranch. It's just a really cool, beautiful thing to see. So lead on, Andres. Just a minute ago, I saw a skink on the trail, like a snake, a lizard kind of thing. Just a lot of wildlife around here. Really beautiful. There it is, State Park. No problem.
No problem.
It's good stuff. Thanks for coming with us, guys. Hope you all get a chance to visit this place someday. Really beautiful. That's the beach we were looking at way up on the trail earlier. This is pretty cool. Hand cycle. Hey!